Episode 8 of Monsters begins with Judalon taking the witness stand. She steps up and points out how she met Azil. She runs her mouth, points out how awful Jerry is, and exposes what an absolute fruitcake she is too. Judalon does the prosecution no favours, as she also admits she'd never heard the boys threaten Azil. Good luck, Dr. Azil is the last thing she actually heard, followed by Jerry then straddling her and loading the woman with pills. You see, Judalon continued to suffer from nasty nightmares and claims that Azil raped her through all of this. She also goes into detail about their fantasies, eliciting chuckles from the courtroom as she speaks about the ludicrous nature of it all. Lyle is confident that they've nearly done it after this and believes they're through the worst of the case. He notes that they're nothing like Dharma, nice little nod to season 1 there Netflix, and they'll be in charge of casting for the feature film based on their lives, or a Netflix series I guess. While Lyle can quite easily shrug it all off and forget about this, falling back to his narcissistic tendencies, Erik, however, cannot. As we cut forward to January 17th, 1994, an earthquake hits LA. The boys are moved to a courthouse downtown as a result of all of this, and it's also where things start to go wrong. When the case continues, disaster strikes when Erik takes to the stand. He can't get the right distance from the mic, and this frustration spills over to his testimony. You can see him struggling, and unfortunately, when called out on the handguns, there's a gap in the story. Erik gets the facts mixed up and Lyle immediately calls his brother out afterwards. Lyle blames Erik for all of this, and on their way back to prison it doesn't look good for them. Despite this bump in the road, Leslie gives her closing statement to the jury about the abuse the boys suffered from. However, all of this is up to the jury themselves, and unfortunately Erik is losing it behind bars. He's painting and writing to someone outside. Dunn points out the flaws of the case thus far and refers to the boys as dead souls. He believes karma is going to come for them sooner rather than later, and unfortunately this entire affair ends in a mistrial. Lyle turns around and looks at the camera, while Leslie believes the blame lies entirely with the men on the jury who didn't agree with her. Fast forward 6 months and Leslie speaks to those on the jury. The women are enamored with Erik, but the latter is not happy. He believes public opinion has swayed and he's losing hope. Leslie puts on a brave face in front of the others, but the truth is she's struggling too. Now, it turns out the real issue here stems from Leslie herself. She's prickly and she rubbed the jury up the wrong way. They didn't like her representing the boys, especially given her past cases. Unfortunately, things hit another snag when Jill shows to see Lyle and points out there's no more money left. The other issue here stems from Norma, who has stolen the idea of a book from Lyle and after telling her everything, has decided to release it herself. She has recordings of all of Lyle's confessions, meaning their entire case is up in the air and he can't testify in the second trial at all. It completely guts the defense, meaning all of this is now going to rely on Erik. Jill also refuses to work on a second trial and walks away. As for Erik, he lashes out at Leslie and blames her for bungling the case and that everyone actually hates her. He loses faith completely and doesn't believe Leslie can get them out, and right next door to Erik happens to be none other than OJ Simpson. OJ is convinced he's not going to be in here for long, and of course we know that that's very much the case, which is where episode 8 comes to a close. As the case draws on, it's clear that ripples of sexism and Leslie's notorious history in the courtroom have led to the case coming to a standstill, as both Lyle and Erik lose faith in the system, believing they have no hope of getting out. 3 years is a long time, and in the court of public opinion, people do change their initial opinions on individuals quite quickly. I mean, as an example within the entertainment industry, go and have a look at Taika Waititi and Russell T Davies as an example of how quickly things can change. When it comes to Lyle and Erik though, the Menendez brothers look set to face life sentences, and with a second case coming up, it definitely doesn't look good for the pair. It all comes down to this finale now, which will look at the second trial and catches up to where we are right now. Thanks for watching, and do let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash a like or subscribe to the channel, your support is very much appreciated. I'm Greg Wheeler, and from all of us over here at The Review Geek, we'll see you on the next video.